Shortages of water in and around Johannesburg have people seething in the south. It seems things are even getting worse. Some parts of Crown Gardens, Ridgeway and Mondeor haven't had water for nearly a week now. And residents say officials aren't clear on what exactly the problem is. Our reporter Pule Letshwiti-Jones is on the ground. He joins us now, of course, to give us some clarity as to what could possibly be the reason that residents aren't seeing water coming out from their homes. Pule, good morning to you, colleague. I can imagine yesterday we had reported parts of Brixton as well, right here in Johannesburg, seeing water shortages, but also the greater south of Gauteng experiencing the same.
Yeah, very good morning. It's quite freezing out here, Tumelo, but what I can tell you is that, residents have been, of course, braving through these couple of days where they haven't had water. I believe it's about 6 days, and they have been trying to contact Johannesburg Water, Rand Water, but it seems as though there hasn't been any, sense of urgency to deal with this matter. And also, in the morning, when we woke up, we saw the statement where Johannesburg Water is saying that customers will be affected as well. There's a Rand Water planned shutdown. It seems as though areas in Rudiport and in Langlaagte, Southdale areas, and of course Soweto areas will be affected once again. And they're saying the purpose of the planned shutdown is to complete a tie line between the A19 and B14 with a new pipeline. It seems as though these are some of the maintenance, processes that are taking place. You'd remember just a few days ago we saw the Aiken-Off water plant station also was affected, and it had a very bad bearing on many areas as well, especially in the south as well. We were speaking to residents who were saying they cannot practice, well water and sanitation measures if there isn't any water. And you can imagine some residents just want to come back from home and take a warm bath, but with no water it becomes a challenge. I'm speaking to some of the residents here and of course the community leader in the area, Mr. Patel. Thank you very much for chatting to us this morning. What are some of the measures you've put in place now? Clearly you are quite frustrated with what's happening.
Yeah, no, look, Pule, let me tell you, it's been a difficult week for many of our residents. Had it not been for the public, the good people of the area supplying water to people, we don't know what we would have done. The guys open up their bowls to people get water in that way. We do some deliveries to homes for the elderly, the ill, and I think from here on, we don't know what more we can do. We get tankers coming to the area, but tankers are not the solution to everything because you need the water coming out of the taps. Yeah. And at the end of the day, people can't be doing this on a daily basis. There's only so much you can do running around with a bucket.
So what are you doing here? Just explain to us what have you done here?
We've got a little mobile tanker that we put to the back of our bucket. We go firstly to the elderly and the ill, and we try and give them some water before we get to everyone else. It's not everybody that has the means to get to the bowls or to a tanker for that matter. Yeah. You find people walking on the side of the streets with containers in their hands, and it's ridiculous. How far do they walk? Then they're going to walk back with that water as well. So we try and ease the burdens by giving people water, and this is going on now for days on end, and we need the water back in the system.
While you do that, let me speak to one of the residents here, Mr. Samir. Thank you very much for joining us on eNCA. Is this the way of living? Have you now have to resort to other alternative plans to try and get water on a daily basis?
Hi, Pule. Thanks for having us. Yes, so we do need to do this type of stuff. Wait for the tanker. There's bowls around the area as well, where residents open their homes to give us water. The good gentleman here, Zubair, and his team, they do a phenomenal job in the community, taking water to the elderly. I don't think you see this in many communities. But again, is it the way to live? No. You go to work, you come back from work. Kids go to school, you come back from school. They need to study. We have power challenges and then we have water challenges as well. So how do we interact and live our lives? I wouldn't say interact, but how do we live our lives when we need to be running around 3, 4, 5 times a day just to get some water?
Yeah, it must be a concern. I just want us to show us inside your home as well how it's like, because I know when we arrived here you wanted to offer us coffee, but the first question was, It must be a concern, but also it is quite, saddening to show that there isn't any water for about 6 days. It must be a great concern as well. But I just wanted to show the viewer as well that what you're talking about is quite serious, that you haven't had water for a while.
Yeah, Pule. I mean, okay, hospitality is part of our culture, right? Yeah. So that's not a problem too. We have a little bit of stored water. Okay. But I mean, let's look at this here, right? We're taking buckets. There's not even air hissing out of the system anymore. Yeah. It's absolutely nothing. Yeah. I mean, you can see it's been dry since last Thursday. We haven't had a drop since last Thursday. Some guys haven't had water 2 streets up from us since last Wednesday. But again, how do you live? How do you shower? Take a cold shower, walk out, get outside, get sick. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
What's the response when you send these complaints to either Rand Water or, of course, Johannesburg Water?
So we get conflicting feedback from Joburg Water especially. They tell us the pipes, the reservoir is open, it's fine, but then there's no water. So how's the reservoir open if there's no water? Then we have leaking pipes, massive leaking pipes, leaking for a day and a half, going on to 2 days. Not being attended to. But then how is there no water in the reservoir, but there's water leaking, gushing out of pipes at 2 different places? So that becomes the concern. So there's absolutely no communication from Joburg Water. I mean, it seems to me it's like a cut and paste, send the feedback out, change the time, and that's the end of the story. But there's nothing concrete in those updates, unfortunately.
And as a resident, how is this affecting you?
We basically just trying to get by a day. But I mean, you're spending 2 or 3 hours a day running around getting water. Going to somebody's home to shower. So you can't actually sit at home and have a meal as well. I mean, how do you wash the dishes? How do you go to the bathroom? How do you go? How do you drink enough water and stay healthy and hydrated in this cold weather? But you're concerned about going to the bathroom. So that becomes a big concern.
Apologies about that. Sorry, Mr. Simir. Hopefully this matter can be resolved as soon as possible. But I'm just going to also go back again to Mr. Patel. I just want to maybe have a chat with you to get a sense of how many calls you get per day when you have to assist community members with water, obviously out of goodwill.
Oh, no, that can range anywhere from 60 to 120 a day. We've even got teams out from places like Roshni. The Roshni team has come through and opened up, their facility for us with their tanks. And we've done, on a daily basis, complexes in dozens of people. Dozens is an understatement, really. I mean, hundreds of people that have benefited from it. And our frustration is that, like Samir said just now, it's Joburg Water and Rainwater in conflict with each other as to who's responsible to fix up certain issues that we're having in the area. And then you have comms in the morning saying, yes, all is good, water is flowing again. Yes, it's flowing, but then there's burst pipes. It needs to be fixed. Whilst the politicians are politicking, the people are suffering. This needs to come to an end. We can't be mediating between them. They are the utilities, they are the authorities, they need to sit down and get the thing sorted. And we cannot continue like this. And in a community like ours, people, the frustration is growing, and people are starting to talk strange things about what they're going to do next and what they want to do next. And we don't want it to get to that point. We want the utilities to do what they're supposed to do. We pay taxes, and you know what? You just sort yourselves out. It's not enough giving us communications on a daily basis that's cut and paste. You tell us the same thing every day for the last week. It doesn't work that way. Give us something concrete. Give us the plan of action, and let us see you at work. Coming and assessing the situation and coming back and assessing it tomorrow and then coming back and assessing it for the 3rd day is not a solution. I mean, you've done your assessment. Come and do the fix. There's streets where the waters are flowing because now the reservoir has been opened, but the water is flowing by tens of thousands of liters being wasted per minute. So you're never going to charge the system, and the system's never going to fill up for water to get to all the homes. Everybody lying beneath that level of the burst pipes are not going to see water. Everyone above that might see a little bit, but again, it's pure wastage.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Patel. Well, Dumela, those are the frustrations that have been raised here by residents in Ridgeway. They want, Rand Water and, of course, Johannesburg Water to attend to these issues with urgency as well. And while there's a planned shutdown, it remains to be seen what will happen next, because Mr. Patel speaks about how there are growing frustrations and people are beginning to speak strange things about they will be doing next to resort their frustrations to either the streets or to go to the municipal officers to try and get answers and get concrete solutions as to how this issue will be resolved. But we'll be going to other communities as well. They're not the only ones who sent us complaints. We've received tons of messages from other residents as well who are experiencing the same issue of not having water for several days in these areas.
All right, thank you so much, Pule Letshwiti-Jones. Of course, answers needed for residents as to how exactly they're going to maneuver their daily lives without any water. Pule Letshwiti-Jones out for us in the south of Gauteng, talking to residents, of course, about this impact of a lack of adequate water.